When trying to syntax a fiction document, how important is spacing? Great question. Thank you for that. A grammar question. Spacing for me, when I syntax a document, is important to the point where we can say that single spacing is the norm, right? So you have a word, a group of letters together, which we would call a word, and then one space, and then another word, and then a space, and then another word. That's pretty much the norm. If you have two spaces in between a word, when the majority of the document is single spaced, that constitutes a break in the continuance of the evidence. Just like a period, a comma, a colon, a semicolon. Two or more spaces would constitute a break in the continuance of the evidence. That's excessive spacing. That's the context that I use that. And actually, I do have a funny, I think it just popped into my head, topic. Have you ever heard the quote, "The meek shall inherit the earth"? The meek shall inherit the earth. The meek shall inherit is adverb, adjective, pronoun, and then the earth is adverb, dangling participle verb. This quote comes from, well, some form of it came from the New Testament. It's attributed to the character known in that book, who's named Jesus. It says, "The meek shall inherit the earth." I have never heard a more BS line in my life. That is hilarious to me. And this is why I say religion is like the biggest psyop, most successful psyop that's ever been perpetrated upon mankind. To get people to believe in something that they can't prove, then you can get them to do anything. You can get them to believe anything. And the meek shall inherit the earth. When has that ever been true? At any time in history. When have the meek ever been successful at anything? Life just doesn't work that way. And it's my thought that the authors of these books wanted to get their believers to believe that, so that if you're meek, then you just take all the bullshit, you just continue to take it and get beat down and taken advantage of by the system, and don't say anything, because the meek shall inherit the earth. Don't fight back. Don't hold a position. Don't become aggressive. Don't become confrontational. Just sit there and take it. Shut up. And that's life, because if you do that, then you'll get a better seat in the heaven location. Anyways, I was just thinking about that. One of the myriad of ways the fiction attempts to control the psyche of mankind and society. Also, to go back to the syntaxing of documents, if you're going to tell someone that they're using incorrect grammar, you damn sure better be able to use correct grammar yourself. That's like, I use this example all the time. It's like the boxing fan or the mixed martial art fan that sits outside the ring with their beer and popcorn, and they're yelling instructions to the professional fighters in the ring. Hey, do this, do that, as if they know better than what the person in the ring is doing, the professional that has thousands of hours of training. You have to be able to use correct grammar yourself if you're going to tell someone else that they're using a fictitious conveyance of grammar. That's rule one, rule equal. It's under the same principle, whereas if you're walking into a foreign vessel in dry dock, i.e. a fiction courtroom, and the common language in that courtroom is plain English, but you speak Russian and you don't know English, it's contingent upon that court to provide an interpreter for you so that you have knowledge of the proceedings. It's the same thing with you. If you're going to create your own court, your own document, contract, postal vessel, court venue, you have to become the interpreter. You have to be able to teach someone else correct sentence structure if they don't know it. If you are addressing them through that document, that court, if you're inviting them to your court, you have to be the interpreter. You have to be able to teach it to them. You have to be able to explain it to them in a way that they can cognize it and understand what it is you're saying. Because if you can't, it's all going to fall to pieces. And you're probably not going to have the results that you were hoping for. Bottom line, the grammar is the most important thing. It is critical to have closure on the grammar before you go gallivanting into those locations. One of my best students, Ricardo Marseille, can back up everything that I'm saying. And of course, my tutor, Raven, could as well, but he doesn't have any interest in any of this. As far as his actual stance on it is that because of how can I say this? Malevolent and incorrect that people like Russell J. Gould and Mark lowercase k are, like how, what's a way to say that? I'm trying to think of a word. Poisonous in paths with those particular people, or even bring that to their attention, because that's how much he doesn't want people to get put in harm's way. I myself take the position that everybody, every adult, man or woman, has the capacity to make a choice. And if they choose to contract with someone like Russell J. Gould or someone like Mark lowercase k Kishon Christopher, that's their choice. That is completely their choice. And if they're doing that, if they are contracting with people like that, they are participating with presumptions and assumptions based on the fact that no evidence of anything that those men have done has ever been presented to the public. Never. That's why I've worked so hard to build a grammar foundation on this channel. And now, I've had that for a few years now, that those other people don't have that. They don't have a public grammar foundation like I do, to show that I'm all about the grammar. I'm all about the knowledge. The foundation of everything is the grammar knowledge. And I present that for free to the public. I work very hard to establish that. At this juncture in the now space, most people are not interested in that, though. They're more interested in hero stories, tall tales. They'd rather listen to someone who slaps CIA agents across the face for stupidity. The rah, 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 patriotic type of whatever. It's a good story. It does get your blood up a little bit. But the bottom line is, it's just a story. There's no proof, no evidence, except someone running their mouth. And there's no grammar either. One of these days, I am going to throw up. I don't mean puke. I'm going to put up on the internet and syntax a Russell J. Gould created live life claim. The same one that Muriel Metabiggs or whoever is running that over there now is selling for $100 to $200. I don't know what it is nowadays. I'm going to put it up there and I'm going to go through it and syntax it. I've already did a cursory forensics on it in the Stephen Temple video I did a few months ago. But I'm going to show, how it's a fictitious conveyance of grammar. He actually sent me the same template back in 2017, and he's still using that same template to this day with a couple minor adjustments. I think I'm going to make some coffee. I'll tell you, if you want some entertainment value, you head over to correct sentence structure, communication, PARSE, syntax, grammar, cosmosity over on TikTok. Wow. I'm getting some real live ones in the comments fields over there. And it's great because it creates its own content, because I can see a comment and then I can do a video kuleana to it. I can do a video response to it. And it's really, it creates itself. And I'm over 700 subscribers on there. So my goal is to reach 1,000. I'm over halfway there in a very short period of time, which I'm pretty happy about. I didn't realize it was going to go so fast. And once I reach that 1,000, then I'll be able to jump on those live streams with the Freemasons, with the Satanists, with the Christians, and whoever else. And I can bring correct sentence structure to there and see how everybody responds to it. It'll be really cool, I think. It'll be fun. If anything, it will be fun. It will be entertaining. Is anybody out there familiar with, first of all, I want to address this since we have a few people here. Has anyone seen how active Winifred Adams has been? She's the host of the podcast Making Life Brighter. She's been pretty active lately. And she's been putting up videos with Russell J. Gould and also Sergeant Robert Horton. Does anybody remember the history of Russell J. Gould and Sergeant Robert Horton? I find this so fascinating, psychologically, that she's having Robert Horton, she's publishing videos with Sergeant Robert Horton in them, interviews with the guy, right? He, I guess, in a loose sort of way, could have been considered Russell J. Gould's head of security at one point in time, loosely. And also a broker of sorts for receiving gold and silver. Now, if you remember, a couple years ago, they had a falling out. And Russell appeared to take it so harshly. He was so mad. He published a couple videos where he was in some darkened garage and he was actually physically kicking things and using the mother effer word and just saying nasty, nasty things about Sergeant Robert Horton. Felt so strongly about it that he created a quantum gobbledygook document where he demoted Robert Horton from being a sergeant to a, pardon my language, trashy bitch. And now suddenly Winifred's publishing back-to-back interviews with Russell and Sergeant Robert Horton. What happened? I mean, is he no longer Sergeant Robert Horton? Is he now trashy bitch Robert Horton? In Russell's world? I don't know. It's pretty funny. It's that world, that domain over there is so chaotic and so volatile. And everyone just hangs off the edge of the latest words out of Russell's mouth, whether that comes through his handler, I'm sorry, his benefactor, I don't know what you call her, his girlfriend, Rachel Prince, or through Muriel Biggs, or I think they kicked Gordon Schiller out. He's actually been kicked out several times and came back, and I don't know what that status is. Who else? Mari Shapka, Joey John Lester, Edward Sloan. Who else? There's one more I'm missing. Oh, well, I can't think of it right now. Sorry. But it's just very volatile over there. And I know that because I speak to people that have come to their senses and broke bulk with that domain, that construct. Yeah. Not sure where I was going with this. Let me think for a minute. Oh, I was talking about TikTok. And Winifred Adams, the Sergeant Robert Horton. Yeah, I wonder what happened there. Why is Robert Leroy Horton in Russell's good graces again? I wonder what happened. By the way, and this is free knowledge directed towards Robert-Leroy Horton. Robert, in your name, when you write out your name, you're writing it incorrectly with regards to Rule 1, Rule equal. So you have colon tied up against the Robert. The R in Robert is capitalized. All the rest of the letters are lowercase. Then you have hyphen, and then you write a capitalized L, lowercase e, capitalized R. That is not correct. The R would not be capitalized as per Rule 1, Rule equal, because what happens on the port side of the hyphen must also happen on the starboard side of the hyphen. So unless you're going to capitalize every third letter in every word or every fact, you wouldn't do that. You would only capitalize the first letter of the word. That's free counsel for you. Rule 1, Rule equal. Oh yeah, the other guy is Tyshawn Dispenza, who at one point in time was the webmaster of the Federal Serve System website. I don't know what it looks like now, but man, that thing was a mess a year or two ago. I don't know if it's still up on there, but Russell basically, I guess, before he met Rachel Prince, he had put up on his Federal Serve website basically a want ad for a woman. He was searching for a woman. It was insane. It was all written in quantum gobbledygook. I wish I would have took a screenshot of it. Crazy stuff. I really don't know. I really feel like that David-WYNN Miller was sort of like the balancer for him, kept him in check. And now, you know, David's gone in 2018, and then we've just been privy to witnessing this guy, RJG, just go off the rails completely. He went from, in 2018, in 2017 and before, having the email address and anybody could contact him. I contacted him and was in contact with him for like 3 years or so with friendly correspondence. He went from being able to, you know, you can reach him and contact him and actually talk to him, to now no one can contact him. And they have to go through this Rachel Prince person. No one can even see him or have a phone conversation with him without going through this person, which is very, very interesting. So someone else is controlling who Russell talks to. And you could say that's sort of a handler, right? Could be considered a handler. Filtering out the people that they don't want Russell to talk to. Now, I am by no means taking any responsibility or accountability off of that guy, because it's his choice to be where he is. It's his choice to have that happen. Goes back to that quote-unquote military court-martial of David-WYNN Miller video. When that video came out, I knew there was something rotten in Denmark. Because I was a witness to the original version of that video with no cuts. And at the end of the video, when he's sitting there at that, whatever he's sitting at a table, and you see the heavyset individual behind him with the automatic rifle standing there. And Russell says what he says, and then he just sits there and stares at the camera. And then you hear someone off to the side say, "Strike the gavel, strike the gavel." And then Russell lifts up the gavel and strikes it on the table. It was so weird. And then, of course, they took the video down, edited it, and they edited out that part. And you can see the cut at the end where they cut out where the person said, "Strike the gavel." They cut that out. You can see the cut. It's not very well edited. But that let me, you know, I was like, wow, that's a red flag. That's really weird. Because how can you court-martial someone? Number one, the person claiming to be the judge, i.e. Russell, was never in the military. So how can he claim any type of military title? Number one. Number two, David-WYNN Miller was never in the military. Adjective, pronoun David-WYNN Miller was in the military, but not David-WYNN Miller. Quantum grammar didn't even, well, let's put it this way. It was not in the public eye when David was a young man in the military. It probably didn't exist. So that's the other red flag. How does that even make sense? To do a military court-martial when the judge was never in the military and has no authority over any military personnel, and then the person that you're court-martialing, the name, David-WYNN Miller, was never in the military as that correct name. Makes no sense. It's simple logic, folks. And it really, you know, boggles my mind that these people that are supposedly so intelligent can't see any of this. I have a document, contract, postal vessel court venue of quantum gobbledygook authored by Russell J. Gould, that has the O bummer flag on it, meaning it's not a 1 by 1.9 flag. It's like a 1 by 3 flag. Like the hoist is 1, but the fly is like 3 times the size. It's not a 1 by 1.9 flag. I have this on file. It's like, what is going on here? I have a document that Russell authored where he puts his autograph on it, and then after the autograph, he hand wrote in another claim. Now, anybody who knows anything about contract knows that the end of the contract comes when you see the autograph and the thumbprint. That is the end of it. That person takes, that punctuated name takes authorization over what comes before it. If you put something after it, it doesn't count. But yet there he is, handwriting in something, which is sort of nefarious, isn't it? You add something on that maybe the other contract parties involved weren't aware of. There are so many inconsistencies, so many contradictions that I could just go on and go on and go on. I have a stack of evidence of these contradictions. Hard evidence of incorrect grammar, incorrect flags, incorrect contracts. And this is stuff that's pretty much available to anybody if they do the work and look it up. All right, so that's enough about that. We have quite a few people on here. I find it hard to believe that out of the dozen or so people that are on this live stream, that no one has a grammar question. Do all, 12 of you have closure on the grammar? Are you all correct sentence structure professionals? I'm just messing with you. But I really enjoy grammar questions like the one April asked earlier about the spacing. I appreciate those types of questions, and I like to be challenged as well. If you have a correct sentence structure related question, I'd be happy to answer it. Whether that's to do with the fate, rip, volition claim, a live life claim, domicile claim, or I can keep talking about these other entities like, let's see. I've tried to get involved with other constructs, other groups. Like I did try to get involved with Russell at one point in time back in 2019-ish. That failed miserably. I tried contracting with the Purple Thumb community. That also failed. I even tried to work with a fellow named, it's a nom de guerre, Hans Beimler. That's not his correct name, but maybe you know him. He's known on YouTube as Hans Beimler. And I've had a mostly friendly relationship with the guy. I actually went on one of his sessions and gave like a 1 hour, maybe 90-minute presentation for correct sentence structure for his students. And that didn't work out. Every time I try to work with a group, it just doesn't work out. And the unfortunate thing, well, it's not unfortunate. I guess it is what it is. Most of these groups don't learn the grammar. Matter of fact, all the groups don't learn the grammar. I can pretty much 100% sure that no one in Hans's group knows the grammar. Hans certainly doesn't have closure on the grammar. Purple Thumb community doesn't. No one over there does. There was one individual. Actually, I did a workshop or two with Lady Crown but she didn't seem too interested in learning the grammar. And then there was someone that was under her that was supposed to be the one to learn the grammar, but they ended up leaving the Purple Thumb community because they saw that it was more about making money than anything else. And then, of course, Russell, it goes without saying why. I'm pretty happy it worked out that I didn't get involved with that group, for sure. Wow. Woo! And then Mark lowercase k. Just like Russell, if you do not subordinate yourself to Mark, he does not want to work with you. And you're especially dangerous if you know the grammar, because he doesn't. So he doesn't want to work with anybody that knows the grammar. And he doesn't want to work with anybody that he can't control. That's the bottom line with that guy. I don't know any other which way I can say it. Who else? There was someone from Australia that contacted me that claimed to be a federal postal judge under DAVID-WYNN Miller. But again, they used quantum gobbledygook, didn't have closure on the grammar. And when I called them to the carpet on it, they stopped contacting me. Humility is a huge part of this grammar. If you can't admit that you're wrong, if you can't admit that you can make mistakes, then you're going to have problems. What I've tried to do with this grammar is to improve on it, distill it down to its basic form, make it easy so that it's a consistent formula that everyone can use. There's no question about it. And I think I've been pretty successful at it. Thank you very much, XR Peaky Blind AR. I very much appreciate that $4.99. Much gratitude, my friend, much gratitude. It always makes me feel good when someone sends a super chat like that, because it tells me that they value the over 500 videos that I've spent thousands of hours of creating and putting out there. When someone shows their appreciation like that, it does my heart good. Let's put it that way. So thank you very much, my friend. Syntax patterns I have learned are very, very important. Yes. Yes, they are. Syntax patterns. Adverb, verb, adjective, pronoun, adverb, adjective, pronoun, pronoun, adverb, verb, pronoun, adverb, adjective, pronoun. Those are the 5 syntax patterns. Now you can have an adjective, 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 pronoun, but you cannot have an adverb, adverb, verb. And I go into great depth of detail on why that is in my parts of speech video about the adverb. The adverb is basically a no verb. It is a non-tangible condition of state. It's just a wisp of an idea. It barely exists. There can only be one of them at any given moment because they're here and they're gone. And they modify either verbs or adjectives. Adjectives, on the other hand, are tangible contract. They're solid, like a consonant is solid. And so that's why they can color other adjectives and then a pronoun. Pronouns can be either tangible or non-tangible. Verbs can either be tangible or non-tangible. Adverbs can only be non-tangible. Adjectives can only be tangible. There, now I have some coffee. Cheers. Again, I invite everybody here to go over to my TikTok. You can find a link to that in the description of this video, and subscribe to my TikTok channel. It's pretty lively over there. Also, when I get the 1,000 subs, hopefully I'll be able to monetize that channel. Because I don't do anything else but this. And trust me, it ain't easy navigating strictly on a donation gift basis when you're trying to bring value to your household. And trying to stick by certain principles. If I wanted to, I could charge people thousands of dollars to syntax their cases. But I can't do that because of the principles that I hold with the balance of the honor and the grace. Because I know that 9.9 times out of 10, they're going to fail. Even if I write the document, they're going to fail. Why? Because I'm not there. If I write the document, if I author the document, I'm the authority. So I would need to be there. So that's why I don't do that. I could, but I don't. I can do what Mark lowercase k is doing, but I don't. My integrity prevents me from doing that. It's been a slow build for me, but I'm happy about the build that I have. Some people have told me that the reason why I only, that I've been stuck around 5,000 subscribers on YouTube is because I've been shadow banned. I don't think I believe that. I really don't think I believe that. I just think it's a direct reflection of society that, number one, they're just not interested in this for whatever reason, and that's their choice. And number two, if they are interested in it, the majority of them, when they find out what it actually takes to learn this, they just don't feel like they have it in them to do it. Again, that's why I say only the 1% of the 1% of the 1% are going to learn this. You know what? I would love to give a shout out to some of my favorite students who are on the road, putting in work. I mean, blood, sweat, and tears into learning this stuff. I think I will just shout them out. I don't think they'd have a problem with it. I'd like to give a shout out to full colon Spencer David Miller Field. That guy is really putting in some work. He's really, putting his best foot forward and just buckling down and doing what it takes, because I like to think that he's like me and he's old school. He's younger than me, of course. Most everybody's younger than me. But he is old school. Living off the land. But yet he's not like, I wouldn't say he's particularly conservative in any way, shape, or form. But I really appreciate the effort and like to recognize the effort that he's put into learning. Another one is Pascal-Matau, Schmidt. He's really serious about the grammar, and he contacts me with questions that no one's ever asked me. I mean, the way that guy's mind works, and he's substantially younger than me, but the maturity of his level of his mind in learning this grammar is off the charts. He comes up with some questions that really make me think, and I really appreciate and value him. And I value his efforts in learning this stuff. It's admirable, the effort that he puts in. Another one that I'd like to mention is Cameron. He's another one that's like Pascal, that very analytical, logical mind, which I definitely appreciate because I have that same type of mind. He's been putting in some hours, hundreds of hours, learning. That guy will take the time to create a video to send to me, explaining where he's at with the grammar, making a claim, and then providing evidence for it, explaining why he gives this answer or that answer. His attention to detail is phenomenal, and that is definitely a plus with this grammar. You have to be detail-oriented, for sure. Let's see, who else? All right. Here's one that really impressed me, because this individual, it's been like they were taking classes last year pretty consistently, and then they dropped off, and then a year later they contact me again, and we did a class, and this individual actually improved over that year. Most people, if they drop off and come back, they regress. This individual improved, and I'd like to give her, all the credit in the world, and that's Annette-Dawn-Giles. Great work. Great work. At this point, she's actually one of my best students as well, because she's almost there. She's almost there. And these people, keep in mind, are from all over the earth. Some of them are in Canada, some of them are in New Zealand, some of them are in Australia, North America. All over the place. Can anybody see how many thumbs up have been given for this live stream? I'm showing that I have 2 thumbs up. And I don't know whether you realize it or not as a viewer, when you do that, when you interact, when you comment, when you hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down, whatever one, I don't care which, it helps the algorithm. And it helps get this stuff out there. And it helps the channel. So if you can't send a super chat or anything like that, you can't donate that way, you can't get a membership, you can at least hit the thumbs up and share this stuff. It's the least you can do, really. Quite literally. I don't know how many of you out there run a YouTube channel or create content of this manner. But it's not the easiest thing to do, that's for sure. I could have picked a lot easier stuff to do than this. But it's definitely more rewarding. Oh, I know the other thing I wanted to talk about. Is anybody out there familiar with someone named Crypto Rice or Rice Crypto? I will wait a couple minutes to see if anybody is familiar with Crypto Rice, Rice Crypto. Anybody out there? Those dozen or so people that are watching this, any of you familiar with Rice Crypto, Crypto Rice? He's a podcaster. Anybody out there familiar with Crypto Rice, Rice Crypto? I don't know what it is. Are y'all just shy or what? It's only like 2 people out of the dozen that have commented. David, hello, David. All right. Hey, thanks for coming on here, David. I'd like to give you a shout out too as well, my friend. David Baxendale is another student I'd like to recognize that has been putting in hard work with learning this grammar. I know the effort the guy puts in. He's a very methodical thinker by my perception. And he's like me. Like my totem animal is the turtle, right? That's how I do things. I'm slow, I'm methodical, and when I get something, I get it. And I see that in David. I see his perseverance and his persistence, and I appreciate and value his efforts that he put forward in learning this grammar and doing the workshops. So shout out to you, David. So to move on with what I was saying about Rice Crypto. A couple years ago, he contacted me and he wanted to do a consultation. Of course, I offered him a consultation. And we ended up doing a video consult, but his audio wasn't working. So I offered to reschedule, and then he never got back to me. Okay, so I thought that was that, right? And then he actually came onto a live stream I was doing one time, and he asked me if I was interested in coming on his podcast. And I asked him, are you interested in learning the grammar? Because that's the only reason that I would have to go on his show would be to teach grammar. And he told me, he literally said, no, I'm not interested in learning the grammar. This was like 2 years ago. I was like, okay, well then I guess you walked into the wrong bar, man. I'm not interested in doing your podcast if you're not interested in learning the grammar, because I'm not interested in just doing something for the sake of doing it. There has to be a reason behind it. I have commented on some of his videos where he was having his little ta-ta with Russell a couple years back. And, I pretty much just shouted him out and was like, my heart goes out to you, man, and blah, blah, blah. And he was very kind, Rice Crypto, and was like, yeah, thanks, man, and blah, blah, blah. But that's about the size of it. There would be actually no reason for me to go on a podcast unless the person was interested in learning correct sentence structure. At least that's the way I look at it. Just an FYI, there is no way that I can see, at least on my iOS, to hit the like button without leaving the stream, and even then I can't find it. Very strange. Any thoughts? I have no idea. I don't use Apple. For me, Apple is evil. And I have to question the moral character of anyone who would use an Apple device. No, man, I'm just kidding. I am totally just kidding. I just don't like Apple, and I just don't use it. So I have no idea why. Like, I have no idea why I can't leave a comment on my own stream here. It's weird. What was the name of that guy that McAfee? Anybody remember John McAfee? Supposedly McAfee was creating his own cell phone that was not beholden to Verizon or Apple or anything. Supposedly he had it developed and ready to go, and then all of a sudden he's gone. Isn't that interesting? A guy like McAfee, if you listen to him talk, he reminds me a lot of Alan Watts. People who have done or have had extensive experience with hallucinogens just have a certain way of talking, and you can pick them out of a crowd. They have that 1,000-yard stare, kind of like Woody Harrelson. Does anybody out there know how many positionals are in correct sentence structure? And if you know, can you list them? That's a really easy question. Nobody knows how many positionals there are? David? April? Anybody? How many positionals are in correct sentence structure, and what are they? How many positionals? Easy question. For, by, with, of. Okay, that is correct. Now, can anyone name the functions of the four positionals? For has a function, of has a function, with has a function, and by has a function. What's cause, David? Let's be specific here. For has a function, of has a function, with has a function, and by has a function. Let's be specific. Which one is cause? For is cause, that is correct. Now, while we're thinking about the function of each one, because remember, correct sentence structure is one and one is one. April is correct. We have for is cause, of is concern, with is possessive, by is authority. Because she didn't put in the positionals there, she just put in the functions going by the order of which they would appear. So in that context, thinking about that, one word, one meaning, one function, one congruency. So what is the congruency of for? What is the congruency of? What is the congruency of with? And what is the congruency of by? Does anybody know? Okay, for is congruent with by. That is correct. So then, process of elimination, of is congruent with. Of does not equal with. Of is congruent with. Of equals of. With equals with. Cause, concern, lodial, fact. No, the lodials don't have anything to... Lodial, in fact, have nothing to do with what we're talking about right now, Brandon. We're talking about positionals. So we have given closure to how many positionals they are, what the function of each positional is, and what the congruency of each positional is. Now, how do those positionals work to present what we call a mathematical interface on grammar? How do the positionals perform to certify a mathematical interface on the grammar when you're reading a sentence port side to starboard side and then you read it quote unquote backwards? How does that work? How do the positionals facilitate that? Can anyone tell me how the positionals facilitate the mathematical interface? To give you a little help, think of the basic math problem 1 plus 2 equals 3, and then to check that, 3 minus 2 equals 1. We are literally talking about the mathematical interface on grammar. How do the positionals facilitate the mathematical interface? And no, 5, 6, 7 is not the answer. Everything that we just talked about. One final thing that I will add to this while you're thinking about that, if you are indeed thinking about it, is that the shortest correct sentence structure communication that there is would be for the facts, of the facts, are with the facts, by the facts. That's the shortest one. You have 4 position loadial fact phrases, and you have a verb in the middle. Now, the standard sentence would be for the facts, of the facts, are with the facts, of the facts, with the facts, by the facts. Okay? Always, 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 to maintain the mathematical interface, there are 2 position loadial fact phrases in front of the verb. For the facts, of the facts. Are. Always. There's never 1, never 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. Only 2. Because you need 2 points with which to establish a geometric straight line to show where you're going for the correctness. For the facts, that's 1 point. Of the facts, that's another point. Then you can draw your straight line. Then you put your movement in. You put your verb of the thinking in there. Your cause, your concern, and your verb, your cogitation. Then you move on to your possessive, concern, possessive authority. How do the positionals facilitate the mathematical interface? Does anybody know? And how does it relate to 1 plus 2 equals 3, 3 minus 2 equals 1? Going once. Going twice. I wonder where all the big brains from the Russell J. Gould camp are. Or the quantum grammar experts from the Mark lowercase k contingent are. I wonder where they are. I can tell you where they are if they're listening to this right now. They're probably lost. Lost at sea. All right, I'm going to explain it to you. When you look at the equation, 1 plus 2 equals 3, 3 minus 2 equals 1, you see that the factors, the facts of the matter, the 1, the 2, and the 3, maintain the same value on the port side and on the starboard side. Going forwards and going backwards, they maintain the same value. So that doesn't change. But what facilitates that? The plus and the minus side. Plus is congruent with minus, just like multiplication is congruent with division. The positionals work in the same way. For is congruent with by, of is congruent with. Plus is congruent with minus. Division is congruent with multiplication. This is how you maintain the mathematical interface via the positionals. I've just explained to you in less than 30 seconds the mathematical interface on grammar. And that's that. Well, I appreciate everybody being here. We are well over an hour. And I'm really glad that we got into this. Although I have discussed it many, many times on the channel, I don't know. It just seems to elude people what this mathematical interface is. It's so simple. It really is. Again, if you're interested in learning this, you want to do a workshop, contact me at jasonmatthewg17@gmail.com. I do have a curriculum, a set of classes, a course. It's just like walking into a classroom where you are the only student. And it's up to you as to how fast or slow you go. It's not easy. But your first step is to email me and get the ball rolling and apply for the workshop. I'll set up a 10 to 15-minute video consult where I lay out the terms and conditions. And you can ask me whatever you want. And wow, thank you for the $4.99. Very much appreciated. Thank you for coming over. And I'm glad that I was able to provide some value for you. And I also appreciate your maintenance of Rule 1, Rule Equal and returning value to me. That's what it's all about. What you put in is what you get out. If you're not putting anything in and someone else is just continuously putting stuff out, you're probably not really going to get too far with it. You got to put something in order to get something out. And Peaky Blinders, I can see understands that, and I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.